Hi, it's Sarah here from Crafting and Stamping, and I'm back with my usual online workshop, first Wednesday of every month, and so I've got lots to share with you tonight, and hopefully I'll get through everything in about an hour. We may overrun a little bit, so I'm going to set you up now above the desktop so that you can see what I'm working on. Hi Lynn! Nice to see that you're there. So I might start to miss who's around as I switch things around, but we shall see. Let's see if we can get set up and make sure that you've got a good clear view. Hi Laurie, nice to see another name. So I'm just trying to get set up here, so I'll just be a couple of seconds trying to find my own. There we go. So right, so tonight if you don't know, Stampin' Up have started their Sale-a-bration. This is like a mini sale that we have actually now twice a year. This first one's January till the 28th of February, and so we've got, what this means is that we've got various products that are free with a £45 purchase within that period. So, and we've also got out a new mini catalogue that is running from now until the end of June. So like I say, I've got two products that I'm going to feature tonight, and we're going to be making a number of projects. You're always free to watch and craft along, but hopefully you'll also be inspired to purchase from me. And if you purchase, then no matter what the size of your purchase, I always send a thank you card. I really do appreciate your business. If you spend over £30, then you're also going to get the Ideas Tutorial Bundle. That is a PDF document that has got lots of different tutorials from people, Stampin' Up demonstrators across the globe. And my own little contribution to that this time was these. These are the projects that are in the tutorial bundle, and these are the projects from me. So that's what the tutorial bundle is about. If you spend over £45 as a result of this online workshop, then you will get the tutorial bundle, a thank you card. You'll get to choose your own Sale-a-bration freebie, as it's over £45, and you will get the make and take pack from tonight. So this is an example. Some of the papers may vary. If you spend over £60, you will get thank you card, tutorial bundle, Sale-a-bration freebie, the make and take pack, and these doilies, the Heart Home Doilies. Now the Heart Home Doilies have got 30 doilies in, and they come in 3 different colours. So we've got Misty Moonlight, Cinnamon Cider and Basic Grey. And we'll be using a couple of them tonight on the projects, so you'll get to see those. So in terms of placing an order, you'll be able to do that online in my shop if you want to go on and do that direct. If you would like a bit of help, please get in touch with me and I will walk you through the process. So the things that I'm using tonight, like I say, in this Sale-a-bration catalogue, I'm going to be using these Sunshine and Rainbows DSP. Now this is just a mini pack that I've got here just to make it easier to show you, but there are 48 sheets. You get 4 each of the designs that are in here, and they're lovely bright designs. So we've got lots of rainbow designs on one side, and we're going to use various of these tonight. Yeah. And then over on the other side, we've got somewhat more subtle patterns. And these are great too. These are good for so much. They really are. I'm using loads of these at the moment. So we're going to be using those. And the other thing we're going to be using is this awesome Otters Stamp Set. So, and this is it. And it is so cute. So we've got 3 different otters and a little party hat and a couple of sentiments. And this is one of those red rubber sets. So you will need to press these out, put the stickers on the back, and then you're ready to go. If you don't want to put the stickers on the back, you don't have to. I used to not bother with stickers on the back of most of my stamps at one point, but I'm back to it now. So we're going to be using these. So first card, let's have a little look. So this is what we're going to be making. And those are the making tape pack to show you. Let me get my own pack. There we go. So, oops, a daisy. It's falling in my lap. So what we've got here is Mango Melody card base. Pretty sure it was Mango Melody. And like I said to you, this is where we've got a nice sort of bright pattern from the pack, and then we've got a more subdued pattern, and it looks like water to me, so I'm going to use it as water and just stamp my otter over the top. So let's get I'm using Misty Moonlight ink pad, but you could just use black. You could use Night of Navy, so lots of options. Right, so that's my insert. Let me put that out of the way. So, and where have I put my otters? No use moving them when you need them. So I'm going with the one that's in the water, and I'm going with the Utterly Awesome sentiment. And I just wanted to show that really you don't have to colour these in. If you haven't got time to colour, haven't got different colour pens or inks that you can use, then you could just stamp this. But if you want to, you could always stamp it and then colour it in, even though it's on a coloured paper. So I'm going to stamp him over to the side like that, and we'll grab another block and stamp the sentiment. Might have squished that a bit too much into it. Let's hope I don't make a mistake. If you were to make a mistake, then you could always stamp this again onto some white card and pop it up as a little sentiment label over the top. So there, I've just stamped those, like I say, fairly straightforward, and I'm actually just going to glue these on direct. So I'm going to use wet glue because that'll just give me a couple of seconds to be able to move the paper if I need to. So I'm going to pop some of my white glue on. That's squished out a little bit, so I'm just going to move that inwards. Doesn't come out when you want it to, and then it comes out too fast. So, and then I'm just going to put this on with an even border along the top and down the sides, and just move that until it's about central, about where I want it. So there we are. And I've got a tiny smidge of this same paper that I've just cut off, because you can just see that we've got little sunshines along here, and I thought that that would be quite nice to use as a bit of a border. So I'm going to now put on, I often like to do these onto another layer, even if it's just scrap card, so that I can wrap ribbon around if I want to. but this is just showing how we can make just a quick card just using the paper direct. So we're going to put that on. A little bit of glue seeped out there, so while it's wet you can remove it. And this is a glue that it will dry, it will go on as a glue. If you were to leave it like this and let it dry, it then becomes a temporary glue, so that you can pick things up and set them down again. So I'm just going to pop that along the border like that. And as a final touch, I'm going to be using the little pebbles that we've got. Let me show you these. These are so sweet, for particularly with these otters. So little enamel shapes, and they come in 3 different colours. I'll bring these up. I'm using them up very quickly at the moment. We've got some that are almost cinnamon cider, a basic grey and a smoky slate, I would say. I probably need to check that, but that looks about right. So I'm just going to use some of these pebbles to finish off the front of this card. And they're self-adhesive, so you just decide where you're going to put them, and I think I'm actually going to put them into a little pile over here at the side. Kind of, let's see if we can pick that up a little bit and just move it over a little bit more, like that. So like I say, you could colour the otter, or you can leave him like that. And for the insert, I'm simply going to pick another of my otters. I like this one with the fish. And I'm going to stamp this on the insert. So let me grab another block. And again, I'm just going to do him in Misty Moonlight, and I'm not going to worry about colouring him in. I will just bring back in my other otters that I've done where I have coloured them, so that you get an idea of what they can look like. So these are my coloured otters, and I used blends for these, and I used Crumb Cake in 2 different colours and Pool Party for the waves. So that's one way of doing them. So that's our first card. Or it will be when I've actually put this insert in. So let's just move that over. So to get the otters you would need to spend £45, and to get the rainbow papers you would also need to spend £45. You can spend £90 and get both. There's no limit to how many freebies you can get. So you might need to choose, or you might have got a nice long wish list and be able to get both. And I will talk to you about that, because if you've got a long wish list, there's an even better way of doing things. So that's our first card. So next up, we're going to use some more of the paper, and we're going to use one of the doilies. Let's move these to one side. And I'll show you the finished card after I've done this one, because I just want to show how we can use these doilies with so many of the papers. So if I bring back in the papers, we've got quite a few that the cinnamon cider will go very well with. Some lovely patterns in here that work really well, and I've picked this particular one, and of course you could use it either direction. With the Misty Moonlight colour, let me grab that, then that works particularly well with these blues that we've got in here, the hearts, etc. And the basic grey pairs very well with most of them, to be honest. I would say particularly well with the pinks, actually. I love pinks and greys together. So, but if you're wanting to use it with something very bright, maybe say something like this, you can always flip it over and use the white side, or you could colour this whatever colour you want to match any particular colour, pattern, etc. that you want. So let's just move these back out of the way and get back to our card. So I'm actually making a cinnamon cider one here. One of the ones that I've already prepared for the pack. This is where you might get a different choice. So one of the ones I've prepared for the pack is this one with the, I think it's Blushing Bride, it looks like Blushing Bride, and the grey, and I'll show you a Misty Moonlight version very shortly. So I've already die cut out a circle, and let me get I'm going to get the cinnamon cider ink, and I'm actually just going to use a thank you sentiment, and that is from my Peaceful Moments set. Now I've been using this throughout the last year or even longer possibly, but if you've not got a good sentiment set yet, we've got some great ones in this new catalogue. So something like the Celebrating You, which has got all sorts of different occasions in there, that's a really handy one. And what else we've got? I know that there was another one that I was thinking of. Let's flip quickly through. And of course there's plenty of sets that have got great sentiments in as well. Right, so this was what I was thinking of, but this is more specific to weddings, Valentine's, anniversaries. So that's something that you, if you're looking for an occasion like that, that's great. If you want something that is more general occasion, then the Celebrating You set is wonderful. And we've still got things in the main catalogue, stamp sets in the main catalogue that would meet that requirement as well. So I'll move that to one side and open up my cinnamon cider and ink that up. And I like to just stand up so that I can see where I'm stamping, and this will just fit on. I've actually split this stamp apart, you might be able to see, so that I can use it on two lines if I want to, but you don't have to do that. So right, so I'm just going to set that aside to dry while I put my ribbon together. That's for the insert. So there's two pieces in the pack. One of these is longer for you to be able to tie a bow if you wish. So to tie a bow, I do bunny ears, just loop two loops like that, pass one over the other and tie, and then just fuss and tighten that up a little bit. If you aren't comfortable doing bows, then the other thing you can do once we've got this on is simply tie the ribbon on in a knot. This is from the main catalogue, and it's our seam binding ribbon, and it's exceptionally handy. It's a very flat ribbon, so it's not going to add a lot of bulk to your projects. And because it's white, you can colour it to any colour that you need. So if you've got an ink pad, you can just, if you get a piece of kitchen towel and hold it down and pull through, that will colour it. You can grab your stamping blends and colour the ribbon with the blend. So lots of different ways that you can colour this, really handy. So I'm going to use my tear and tape to put this on the back, and I like to just put this onto the back, just grab a couple of little pieces without actually sticking it down on the front. That allows me, if I want to tie a knot on and move that knot around. But you can, of course, if you prefer, just going to use my grid paper to get an idea of where that wants to be. That's about right. So if you want to, of course, you can stick it down on the front. So I'm just going to line that up and stick that on there, and then pull that across, not too tight because we're just using paper, not card, on this layer, and if we pull too tight with the ribbon, it can cause the paper to buckle a little bit. So I'm just going to move it back a smidge before fastening it on there. So if that looks a little bit less tight than I need, I can actually pull that up and just pull it over and lay it down again. So I think that's okay, not too tight. So I'm using cinnamon cider as my base here, and I'll grab my seal, just move that on. So I'd love to know what you think of the Sale-a-bration goodies. Do you like these bright colours for the papers? Or have the otters caught your eye and your heart? Or have you already had a little look in the catalogue and seen something else that you prefer? Right, so I'm going to just tie this a little bit tighter. Like I say, you could just tie a knot onto here, and you could colour your ribbon differently for the background ribbon and the knot. Now I usually just press my bow onto the glue dot and lift it up like that, and we'll pop that on there like that, and then I'm just going to use my scissors to just snip away the ends at a bit of a diagonal like that. Now I'm going to pop this on direct because I just want to make sure that I've not got too many layers for posting, but to be honest, 2 lots of dimensionals I can usually get away with. And I like to line this up on the grid paper so that I have got that straight, and then I'm going to pop that on like that, and I'm going to grab a few dimensionals and just stick these in a trio on the back like that. So again, I'm going to stand up so that I can see what I'm doing in terms of getting that central on the card. Then for the inside, I'm going to grab, and this is one that I've not actually used, good grief. So I'm going to have this sentiment here. So I've actually not put the sticker on this. Have we got time? Very quickly, I'll show how I do this. So the sticker sheet we peel off like that. So I've found the sentiment that I need. So you shouldn't have, but I'm glad you did. Peel off the backing of here, and then you do need a steady hand, because you need to get this lined up. It sticks onto glue and it's very sticky. And then you peel that off and you've got your words on the back. So I'm going to grab that, and hopefully I've got room for this. I'm going to use my cinnamon cider again, and I'm going to put this over to one side, and I'm using the grid paper in the background to help me get things straight. And I've stamped that first, and now I can stick on my little border. I always do it that way round, so that if I get the stamping wrong, I can always flip it over and start again. So let's just put a bit of seal on the back of here. And again, I'm using my grid paper all the time, and you can get this in the main catalogue, and this is one of those things that it's well worth getting at Sale-a-bration time, so that you've got it year round. And I have allowed a little bit of glue to come through, but if I just keep pulling it away, that will come off. There we are. And I have a little eraser. Unfortunately, we don't stock these anymore. You can get them online. So now I'm just going to adhere this so that it can go inside our card. So like I say, if you get the pack from me, the make and take pack, you may get a different colour scheme. What I usually do is turn it over so I can do it like that. So when you get your make and take pack, you will get a plain one, a plain card, plain set of supplies like this. But you can, if you want to, pop into your order some different ribbon. Let me find that. So this is still available. It was in our Christmas catalogue, but it's carrying over. And this is the glittered organdy ribbon. So I've used this ribbon on this blue card. And then I've also added these amazing new rhinestone gems, these iridescent rhinestone gems, to my card here. So that one was done as a birthday, and of course this one I've done as a thank you, so great for any sort of sentiment. And with that one I'd put thinking of you inside, and this one, you shouldn't have but I'm glad you did. So that's our second card. So let's move on, and we're sticking with the doilies, and we're back to the otters, and I'm using a different paper this time. This paper is from the Heart Home suite, which is where the doilies come from as well, and I should have marked this one up. Whereabouts are they? Here we go. So it's from this set of papers, and you've got a lovely delicate pattern on one side of each, and then you've got this sort of grey wooden planking, different sorts on all of the others, and these are going to be great for just allowing a nice background. They're going to be great for masculine cards, etc. So what I did this little fella, and again I've not actually coloured him in, so I'm going to stamp him onto here, but I decided that it was just a little bit too plain around, so in actual fact I've sort of stepped this up and added the coastal cabana, which was also in the background here. So I'm going to be just using Memento Black Ink, and let's see if we can get by with the blocks. So I'm using the It's Birthday Time from here on this little otter. So I'm going to actually stamp the sentiment first, because I think this is probably the trickier thing to get straight. So I'm going to, I've got my piece of card on my grid paper so that I can see, and let's just move that. And again, I'm going to stand up, so I'll try not to get into the shot too much, and there we go. It's birthday time, and then we're going to stamp this cute little otter. And if it's a small stamp, I usually take the stamp to the ink pad. If it's a bigger stamp, then I take the ink pad to the stamp. It works better for me that way. So I'm going to stamp him down here at the bottom, and I'm putting him a fair way down so that I can stamp his little hat. Now, I should have said at the beginning, if those who've watched before, you'll know anyway, I can't send stamped images. It's part of the Stampin' Up policy. I can't send stamped images. So when you get these little kits, you'll be stamping your own items on. And if you've not got the otters, use whatever you've got in your stash. Or you can make that part of your order and actually follow along completely. So, right. So I've already created that. I'm going to stick this where you can see what I mean about the delicate frints. Not so much my style, those kind of delicate florals. I like the nice bright colours, especially at this time of year. But like I say, the neutral planks on the other side are going to be great for all sorts. And I could stamp direct onto there as well. So it's got a very narrow margin, so if you've not got a steady hand for putting that on, you want to use a wet glue so that you can scudge it around a little bit. If you wanted to, you could pop a layer up on dimensionals. I'm putting this one on flat, and my little otter guy will get popped up. So we're going to pop that down like that. So if you're getting a make and take pack, you're just going to get these panels. You'll get the doily, but you've got to stamp your own images. So with these ones, whatever sentiments you've got, if you've not got the otter, then you could stamp something totally different down there, just a sentiment if you wanted. So right, so next thing is, we've got that prepared now. I'm going to pop this on here and cut away some of the excess. So let's get my paper trimmer out. You could do this either way round. I am going to just pop this on and chop off a bit and go there. So, and I'm going to turn it around. You could just cut it direct down the middle, but I'm actually going to cut it in 2 portions like that. And you can keep that and use it for something else. So, oops. There we go. So we could be using that out of other corners. That's part of the pattern, trying to get that off. So to stick this, I am going to just run a little bit of glue. And I quite like tear and tape actually for doing this. And then I want to get this central. So I'm going to go and let's see. If I pop that on there, I can see where my centre is. And I can get that pretty central within. And then what I'm going to do is just trim away following the line of the card. Like that. I think I got the edge of that a little bit too much. And then the same thing again, upside down, get that about even, like that. And cut away. And you can always turn it around and just cut up like that. There we go. And then we're going to get some dimensionals. And pop these around like that. Now if you really wanted to, these tiny bits you could put on another project, but I must admit that's a little bit too much fluff for me. So I'm going to get that around about central, like that. I'm going to leave him this time, but you can colour and fussy cut out his little party hat. I've not included card for that, but you probably would have a bit of card that would do the job. So if I was doing this, then I'll just very quickly show. So I've just got a scrap of card. I'm pulling out the dark pool party. This isn't Coastal Cabana, but it works. The dark one of the pool party is pretty close and it works nicely. So, and what I did was just colour in. Do you know what? I might as well finish now. So, colour in the little hat, and then to fussy cut it, I leave a tiny margin around, and what you do is when you get to a bit where you need to turn, you open the you move the paper, not the scissors. So you twist your paper within the V of the scissors. So I've then got to the and like that, and just leave it. You don't have to leave the margin. If you don't leave the margin, then I'd recommend getting a little black marker and just running it around all the edges, because it tends, if you've gone right to the edge, it does tend to show up the white bits, as it were. So I'll grab a mini dimensional now, so it will be identical to my other one, and might want to just pop it at a tiny angle so that we don't cover up the sentiment. So there we go with that. And then for the insert, I did use the You Are Utterly Awesome and the swimming one. Now at the moment they've been used with black ink, Mr. Moonlight ink, and I'm going to want to use black, so I'm using my Stamp and Scrub. So again, if you're looking for ideas for building up your order to get a Sale-a-bration freebie, then you won't go far wrong with the Scrub and Mist if you've not got one already. So I'm going to take my otter. Of course you could use grey, but and that would give a very nice soft look, softer than I've got here, but most people have got a black, I know. So there we go. That's our insert done. So like I say, you won't get stamped images with the kit. Oops, right. There we are. Great time Sale-a-bration for stocking up on cardstock. We're going to need that year round. And I'll be my little YouTube videos, quick tips on a Friday. I'm going to be concentrating on tools for the next few weeks because they're a great way of using, adding to your kit. Right, let me just show you as well. So this was a card that we did at our team meeting last month. If people hadn't got the otter, then they put something different on. So, and this is exactly how you can use the kits when you get them. If you've not got the otters, then you could just go with a simple sentiment. But it just gives you another idea of the colouring. So I've used the pool party again here and the crumb cake to colour him in, and then I did one with a little party hat on inside. So that just gives you a few other ideas. But like you say, you don't have to colour the otter, and I think he looks really cute, simply stamped like that. Right, so we're moving on to our final card, and this final one we're using some die cuts, and I'll also show you, this is one that I simply stamped. Now this uses one of the new products in the mini catalogue, the Rainbow of Happiness bundle. So there's a stamp set and a set of dies. So let me show you a bit more of those. So the stamp set, we've got various bits of rainbow. So you've got 4 arches of a rainbow. that you can use and ink those up for yourself. There's also a sentiment that's in an arch, and these are all photopolymer. One thing I would say, if you're stamping them, I can see a dog here, the little dog has got in the way. If you're stamping them, then you might want to just double check. These can get pulled out of their natural arch. I always suggest, if you're picking them up with your block, to just lay them like that and then pick them up, so that they are less likely to be misshapen. But the other thing, if you want to, you can actually, if I lay that one down, you can actually put the others within while you're using the stamp, but then they would all be the same colour. Don't think that one will go quite so well. I would suggest doing them individually because they look better that way, but you will need to just be careful of your arch to make sure that it's the right sort of shape. So that's what it can look like when it's simply stamped. And of course, like I say, I can't send you stamped images, so what I've done is put together an art using the dies. And I thought I'll just show you. Won't get these die cuts in your kit, but I thought I will just show you. So I've used this particular arch to die cut out of here. Now you'll see in a second, that's another piece of our rainbows paper. So that's another part of the Rainbows and Sunshine DSP. So I've die cut out that arch from that layer. Now what you can do with that as well is, with these little bits, you can get out any colouring items you've got, felt tips, ink pads, markers, whatever it might be, colour them in and then stick them back in place if you wanted to. So that's an option for if you're using that particular die. I think it's a great die, really great idea. But that's not what we're going to do with this. So I'm just going to stamp a sentiment to the side. So daisy. And I'm going to go with a little something to brighten your day. And I'll peel my stamp off and clean that later. I'm going to use Bermuda Bay, but you could just use black if you've not got Bermuda Bay. The great thing about this is that there's a whole heap of colours in these. So we've got Magenta Madness was one of the pinks, but there is another pink as well. Let me grab the catalogue. So that's what I love about this, because you can mix and match with all sorts. So we've got Bermuda Bay, Flirty Flamingo, Granny Apple Green, Magenta Madness, Mango Melody, Misty Moonlight, Petal Pink, Pool Party, Soft Sea Foam and So Saffron. So lots of different colours in there. So it really doesn't matter if you've not got a whole heap of colours, you can still make it work with these. So I'm going to grab my mat because it's a photopolymer. And I'm going to just stamp that there, like that. And because of the way the text is, it's a little bit forgiving. You don't have to get it absolutely straight, because you can see it sort of bumps about a little bit. So what we're going to do now is just add a little bit of glue. Now that I've stamped this and it looks okay, if I'd made a mistake I could have flipped it. It doesn't have such a nice smooth look on the back where the die cut is, but you know, if you've made a mistake on this side, you can still work on the other side. So I'm going to just pop a little bit of glue around my rainbow, close to the edges, and then pop this, and I can decide how much of which colour I want, and then when it's on, just slide that over a tiny bit. There we are. So that's how we do that. So I'm now going to, I've got this other piece of the rainbow's paper, and I'm going to stick this onto the bottom half. If you really don't like how that stands up a little bit, then you can always pop a little dab of glue on the back. But to be honest, I'm not too worried about it. So I'm just going to make sure that that's lined up nicely along the bottom, the wet glue, just giving me a couple of seconds to move it around a bit. And now we can put whichever glue you want to use, because I've got this in my hand. I'm not bother getting the seal. And this is a Bermuda Bay card base that I'm using. Pop that on there like that. And I like to just cover up the join in the DSP, just make sure that and I haven't cut this to size, so let's do that. There we are. Good job I checked. I'll double check the packs to make sure that it is cut. So got that, and I'm just going to adhere that to my top of my DSP like that. There we are. And of course, if you wanted to, if you've got the stamp set, then you can use the little raindrops in the corner as well if you like. And then on the inside, we've got an insert, and I'm going to take the sentiment that's shaped like a rainbow, and we'll just pull that in. If I just put my mat, there we go. So I'm going to stick with the Bermuda Bay. Of course, you could go for another colour, add a lot of brightness to this, and there we go. And now this is just another different part of the rainbow paper, different pattern. Easier to use my wet glue. Of course, if you wanted to use this plainer pattern, you could do. This is the one that I just used on the doily. I've got a little bit left over. And I'm just going to stick that down the side like that. Get that about straight. Tiny bit of an overhang there. So I'll just trim it from the back. And there we are. Pop this on the inside. So the rainbow bundle, if you've got a die cutting machine, is £41.25 25, I think it is. I'll just double check that in a second. So you'd only need to add maybe a glue refill or something like that to get that up to the 45 to be able to get the rainbow papers for free. So there's the card that you would get in your pack, and like I say, this is one that I did just as a stamped version, purely stamped, not die cut. So if you've not got a die cutting machine, again, Sale-a-bration is a great time to get one because it'll help you get your Sale-a-bration freebies. But if you've not got a die cutting machine, then the stamp set on its own makes some beautiful rainbows. And of course, don't feel that everything's got to be rainbow coloured. You can make some great monochromatic rainbows, so just different shades of one colour. You could go with Night of Navy, a Misty Moonlight, for example, and stamp one set full strength, don't re-ink, stamp the neck, or rather what you'll need to do is move down to a different size, so you would need to re-ink, stamp it off once, and then you've got a different shade. So you could use 2 inks, get 4 different shades out of 2 inks. Right, so that is the cards for tonight. I think we've done pretty well to gallop through those actually. And let me bring back in. Oh, let me show you as well the other rainbows that I did with my team. So these were, we actually used the papers from the pattern party, which is a hostess gift, because they've got some great rainbows within that pattern pack as well. And these little clouds are the dies that come in with the same rainbow set. So I did this one using the stamp set for the sentiments, but this one I actually went for the above and beyond. I think it's the summer. Is it summer silhouettes? Something like that. I thought that goes well with this idea. You're in the clouds, above and beyond, and thank you. So that's another way to use those. So tonight we have made, let's see, these cards. There we are. So these are the cards that we've made. So if you would like to place an order, like I say, you can go online. Please use the host code that is lined up down there for you. It's in the Facebook post below. If you use the host code, I can give you the goodies. If you don't use the host code, you will still get a thank you, but I can't do the goodies. So it's important to use that host code. If you've got any problems and would like a bit of help, like I say, please get in touch with me, message me or text me, and I'll fix up a time to be able to talk you through it. The online workshop is open until 2 PM on Friday, so if you place your order by 2 PM on Friday, then you can get these make and take packs with a qualifying order. So like I say, any size order always gets a thank you card from me. If your order's over £30, then you'll get the PDF of the tutorial bundle with lots of different projects in. If your order is over £45, then you're going to get the kit, the make and take kit, something like this. So you get the make and take kit, and of course if your order is over 45, then you're also going to get to choose your Sale-a-bration product. Excuse me. You'll get to choose your Sale-a-bration product as well. And if your order is over £60, then you'll get a pack of the doilies as well. That's in addition to the doilies that are in the make and take pack. So any help that you need with ordering, just let me know. I will also be doing a special Sale-a-bration event. I'll be posting about it soon, a bit like this online workshop, but probably with a little bit more variety. I try not to go too mad with the online workshop, try not to use too many supplies all at once, but with that one I will probably use more to just give you a better idea of the Sale-a-bration products that we've got available. So otherwise I'll be back on the first Wednesday next month at 7 p.m. With a whole new online workshop. So thank you for stopping with me, and I'll see you again soon.